There are words that pull a woman closer, and then there are words that push her away, fast. You might think you're being genuine, heartfelt, even deep, but what you say can instantly kill the spark without you realizing it. Today's topic is one that most men get wrong, not because they're weak, but because they've been misled. From a young age, you're told to be open, to express everything, to be emotionally transparent. Sounds healthy, right? But when it comes to attraction, what works in theory often backfires in reality. Let's be real, attraction isn't built on oversharing or emotional unloading. It's built on strength, calm presence, controlled expression, and yes, mystery. Now, this doesn't mean you should be cold or robotic. But if you've ever opened up too soon, confessed too much, or tried to explain your every emotion, and noticed her vibe change, her interest fade, her responses go cold, you've likely broken an invisible rule of male polarity. That's what today's video is all about, the things you should never say to a woman if you want to keep her respect, her interest, and her attraction intact. We're not talking about cheesy pickup lines or awkward jokes. We're talking about subtle phrases, beliefs, and emotional habits that erode your masculine edge without you even knowing it. And here's the truth, this may go against everything you've been told. But if you stick around, you'll gain insight most men never even realize they're missing. This isn't about playing games. It's about showing up with grounded, quiet strength and speaking in a way that keeps you attractive without trying too hard. Let's get into it. Number 1, I can't live without you. It might seem heartfelt or passionate to say, I can't live without you, especially when you're caught up in strong emotions. But in reality, this is one of the fastest ways to push a woman away. It doesn't sound romantic, it sounds like you're placing your entire sense of self-worth in her hands. Here's the deal, when a woman feels like she's become your emotional lifeline, something shifts. The spark starts to fade. Not because she's heartless, but because she no longer sees you as grounded and self-assured. And that is what attraction feeds on, your stability, your sense of purpose, your ability to stand strong with or without her. You see, love isn't about clinging. It's about connection without dependency. When a man says he can't live without a woman, what he's really doing is revealing a lack of emotional sovereignty. That kind of vulnerability, when rooted in desperation instead of strength, becomes a burden, not a bond. Let's say she pulls back. Instead of holding your frame and letting her feel your absence, you flood her with a desperate message. You're my everything. I don't know what I'll do without you. I can't live without you. That doesn't reignite desire, it creates pressure. It drains the mystery. It makes her feel trapped, not cherished. Real strength is quiet. It's in your ability to stay centered, no matter who comes or goes. A woman is drawn to a man who knows where he's going, with or without a relationship. He values her but doesn't need her to feel whole. That independence isn't cold, it's magnetic. The truth is this, women don't want to become your life. They want to be a part of a life that's already full, already in motion. When your sense of self is intact and your happiness doesn't hinge on her presence, she feels safe, intrigued, and inspired. So instead of saying, I can't live without you, show her that your world keeps spinning, with strength, direction, and purpose. That's not just attractive, it's irresistible. Number 2, stop saying you're out of my league. At first glance, telling a woman she's out of your league might seem like a compliment. You might think you're being respectful or showing humility. But here's the truth, every time those words leave your mouth, you're cutting your own value in half. What you're really saying is, I'm not good enough for you. And guess what? If you believe that, she'll start to believe it too. Women are incredibly perceptive. They pick up on your energy, your mindset, and the way you see yourself. And when you present yourself as someone who's beneath her, it shifts how she sees you, often without even realizing it. What women are drawn to isn't arrogance or fake confidence. It's self-respect. He's a man who knows what he brings to the table. A man who sees himself as equal, not better, not worse, just solid in who he is. When you say, "You're out of my league," you're not being sweet. You're giving away all your power. You're basically saying, "I've already decided you're above me, and I'm lucky just to be near you." That kills attraction faster than any cheesy pickup line ever could. Look, beauty doesn't equal superiority. Just because she's attractive doesn't mean you have to shrink. You've got your own strengths, your discipline, your drive, your values, and your presence. That matters. Too many men operate from a place of lack, trying to win a woman over like it's some prize. But the truth is, the right woman is someone who should qualify to be part of your world too. That's real masculine energy. Not chasing. Not putting anyone on a pedestal. Just showing up fully in who you are, and letting her feel that energy. And here's what no one tells you: most women don't want to be put on a pedestal. It's not flattering, it's pressure. It feels disconnected. They don't want worship. They want connection, depth, and someone real. So stop saying she's out of your league. Stop even thinking it. Walk into every room knowing you belong, not because you're perfect, but because you've got substance. You've built yourself. And that speaks louder than looks or money ever could. Attraction is about energy. It's about presence. When you see yourself as valuable, so will she. Number 3, I'll do anything for you. It sounds romantic, right? Like the ultimate sign of loyalty. But let's dig deeper. When a man says this, what he's often really communicating is, "I'm willing to lose myself just to keep you in my life." That doesn't build attraction, it destroys it. As a man, you're meant to lead with clarity, confidence, and purpose. When you start reshaping yourself into whatever she wants, just to avoid disagreement or gain approval, you stop being the man she was initially drawn to. Women might say they want a guy who's always there, always saying yes. But in truth, they respect a man who stands firm. A man who has boundaries. A man who knows who he is, with or without her. Now, let's be clear, this doesn't mean you should never be thoughtful or caring. Kindness matters. But there's a big difference between being kind and becoming a pushover. Too many men mistake constant sacrifice for love. They think proving their devotion means always putting her first, even at the cost of their own values. That's not love. That's neediness. When you make her the center of your universe and show you'll do anything just to keep her happy, she'll start testing you, or not out of cruelty, but to see if you're solid. To see if you can hold your ground. If every time she pushes, you fold, that sense of respect begins to fade. Here's what a lot of men forget: women are drawn to challenge, to mystery, to strength. When you remove all challenge by making yourself endlessly available, you also remove the excitement. The edge. The masculine energy that creates attraction in the first place. True respect and real attraction come when she knows you want her but don't need her. That you're generous, yes, but not at the expense of your self-worth. So no, don't tell her, "I'll do anything for you." Instead, be the man who gives because he chooses to, not because he's afraid to lose her. When you protect your standards, you show your value. And that's when a woman feels a deeper, more lasting pull toward you. Number 4, never say "please don't leave me." Those words, "please don't leave me," might come from love, fear, or deep emotional pain. But no matter the source, saying them is one of the quickest ways to kill attraction. Why? Because in that moment, you're not leading, you're clinging. You're not grounded, you're grasping. Let's call it what it is: desperation. And desperation is never attractive. Most men who utter this phrase feel like they're about to lose something they'll never get back. The connection, the intimacy, the comfort, it all feels like it's slipping through their fingers. And the panic sets in. I get it. Watching someone walk away from your life is brutal. But when you start begging, pleading, or trying to convince her to stay, you give your power away, and worse, you tell her that your value depends on her choice. And that's a burden no woman wants to carry. Because the moment she feels that you need her more than she needs you, the polarity shifts. She stops seeing you as the man she once admired and starts feeling like she's staying out of guilt. An obligation is the death of desire. You might believe you're expressing love, but what you're really showing is fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being enough. Fear that without her, you're nothing. And whether she says it or not, she feels that fear. It weighs down the dynamic. It makes her question why she was ever drawn to you in the first place. Here's the truth: women are drawn to strength, not dependence. To calm, not chaos. To a man who can stand solid in the face of uncertainty, not one who falls apart when things get rocky. So if she's pulling away, don't try to stop her with emotional pleas. Let her go, not because you don't care, but because you respect yourself. Because you know your worth doesn't come from her staying, it comes from who you are, with or without her. When you hold your center, when you let her choose freely without trying to control the outcome, that is when you become magnetic. Not because you're playing games, but because you're embodying quiet confidence. And trust me, that will linger in her mind far more than any desperate words ever could. So no, never say, "Please don't leave me." Say nothing. Let your energy do the talking. Because the man who can let her walk away is often the one she ends up walking back to. Number 5, I don't have anyone else. At first glance, saying this might seem romantic, even noble. But underneath the surface, it reveals something deeper and more damaging than most men realize. It signals scarcity. Let's break it down. There's nothing wrong with commitment. There's nothing wrong with choosing one woman and being all in. But timing and energy matter. When you say, "I don't have anyone else," especially in a heated moment or when things feel unstable, it doesn't come across as loyalty. It comes across as fear. It tells her you don't have other options, that your world revolves entirely around her. And here's the uncomfortable truth: when a woman senses you've got no other potential connections, no other source of romantic or emotional value, something shifts. Her respect for you begins to fade, not because she's cold or cruel, but because it subtly signals that you lack the qualities that naturally attract others. See, attraction isn't just about looks or charm. It's about energy. A man with options, real or perceived, carries himself differently. He's calm. He's not overly reactive. He's not chasing or proving himself. He doesn't fall apart when someone pulls away. And here's the best part: you don't have to actually be dating other women to embody that energy. It's internal. It's about knowing your worth, your value, and carrying yourself like a man who could attract someone else, but chooses not to, because he's centered and intentional. Picture this: a man starts dating a woman, and everything's smooth, for a while. Then she begins to withdraw. Instead of standing firm, he leans in. He says something like, "I've never felt this way before. I don't want anyone else. I don't have anyone else." He thinks he's being vulnerable and sincere. But what she hears is, "You're my only option." That energy, of clutching too tightly, breaks the magnetic tension. It doesn't make her feel special. It makes her feel smothered. Relationships are healthiest when both people choose each other from a place of fullness, not emptiness. A man who is emotionally whole, grounded, and independent brings more to the connection. He's not looking for someone to complete him, he's looking for someone to share his completeness with. So remember this: never announce that you don't have anyone else. Even if it's true, don't present it as a lifeline. Let your presence say, "I'm with you because I want to be, not because I need to be." That's the energy that captivates. That's the energy of a man who is wanted, not one who's merely available. Listen up. If you're the kind of man who constantly seeks validation, puts her on a pedestal, or tells her you're not good enough, then you're simply not prepared for a serious relationship. And to be brutally honest, if that's your approach, you'll never earn the respect or attraction you're hoping for. What you will get is a painful cycle of doubt, insecurity, and disappointment. I get it, that might sting a little. But someone has to tell you the truth: self-respect is non-negotiable. If you don't value yourself, no one else is going to do it for you. Women are drawn to confidence, to strength, to men who own their presence. It's not about how much attention you give or how many compliments you throw around, it's about how you carry yourself, how you lead, and how firm you are in knowing your own worth. Now I want to hear from you. I know a lot of you have walked this road before. Have you ever found yourself saying things like, "I'm not good enough for her," or trying to earn love by overgiving? What happened when you did? Drop your story in the comments. I read every one, and I'll be replying personally to some of you. Let's learn from each other, grow stronger, and stop repeating the same old mistakes. And hey, don't forget to subscribe if you're on this journey of growth. A man who truly knows his worth? He's unstoppable.